Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. I have got questions for you. What opens with some old school grown folks business? And what closes with some new school grown folks business? If you guessed Survivor's Remorse, episode 4, season 4, feel free to comment, then you're correct. And if you'd like to see how we get from opening to closing, please do. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around. I'm Angela and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Okay, so we open up with Missy and Reggie. Miss Missy is showering and singing, and Reggie is watching her, and he invited to come in the shower with her, and they living life like married folks do. And then as she's in the shower, Miss Missy is asking Reggie if she should get breast implants, and he's like, I think you're perfect as you are. Hold on a second. Okay, and then the next scene we see Cam and Allison on the street. They coming from breakfast or brunch or whatever, and Cam is leaving Missy a voicemail message. I need you to plan my gala event, to run the gala for the family, and call me back. And 3 women recognize Cam. 3 black women are on the street, and they ask for pictures, and they're taking pictures and talking about how fine his behind is and how he's a slim thick and he look better than he does on the TV, and and he's like, well, y'all have a nice day, and they like, it would be better if you came with us, and Allison is right there. So they walk away, and Allison and Cam are walking, and Cam is like, oh, I left my sunglasses in the store. In the restaurant. I'll be right back. So he leaves. The women see him leave, and they turn around and come back to Allison, and they are like, how did you get a man like Cam? And they kind of like, basically like, you basic, you ain't really much of nothing, and you need to, do you dead bug him? How do you keep him satisfied? She like, he happy, he got a smile on his face. That's what Allison is saying. One of them is like, I could put a smile on his face, and all of this other stuff. And then they're like, well, do you dead bug him? And Allison is like, I don't know. She kind of like, huh? And they like, that's where you lick his butt or whatever. And they like, you need to dead bug him, or he's gonna upgrade to a real white girl, because real women dead bug with your basic self. Okay, so then we see Missy. She in the kitchen. She doing a pros and cons list. And she says to her husband, hey, the pros well outweigh the cons. And Reggie is kind of like a comedic moment, because Reggie thinks she talking about getting the breast implants, because that's the last thing they talked about. But she's actually responding to Cam's text message and voicemail message asking her to run the family gala. And then we find out that Reggie is not only not in favor of the breast implantedness, he is not also in favor of her running the family gala, because basically he says that she's gonna be bossed around by Cam's mother and sister. But Missy is all into it. She feels like it's going to raise her profile in Atlanta, raise their profile, raise her profile as an event planner. It's going to be an opportunity to be of service to the children with the twisted in noses. What is the Family Foundation for, or something interesting? Okay, so anyway, we got that scene. Then we see and this is kind of like the main part of the episode, this conversation about the black community and being a part of the black community and issues within the black community. But Cassie has a podcast. That's Cam's mom, and the podcast is having a live streaming session, and Cassie is there with her billionaire boyfriend Chin, the producer, and in the background is Chuck. She in there studying, and they just come and set up for the podcast. And she like, of all of the rooms in the house, why y'all gotta set up here? That's microaggression. That's passive aggressive. What's really going on? What's good? And they put Mike in front of her. Come on, give your commentary, my gay daughter. She like, why you gotta be, broadcasting gay? Like, why can't I just be your daughter? And so she kind of chimes in and out at different times of the conversation. Then she comes in and joins the conversation. But the podcast, if you don't remember, is called The Things We Think That You Should Think. I think that's the name. I think that's the name of it. Silly. and Cassie's topic is blessings, and she's talking about how she's so blessed and blessed and blessed, and you know, she got this big house and all of this other stuff where she lives in this big house. The conversation ends up veering off. She wants the topic to be blessings, but it doesn't really stay there. But then before we get back to the podcast, we go back to Cam in the car. He whistling, he happy, he fed, he full, he got his woman there with him. And Allison is very pensive. Cam doesn't notice it at first. He kind of oblivious. And then Allison is like, you think I'm a basic biatch? And he's like, what's really going on? And she tells him what happened. And she like, as she think about it, she like, turn around. I want to go back. I want to fight them. You know, and he like, that's not even you. She like, yeah, this is me when I want to fight. He like, you don't want to end up on World Star Hip Hop. He like, she like, you don't want to end up on World Star Hip Hop. I'm going to go back. I'm going to fight him. Allison, girl, that's not you, mama. And then she's like, you want me to eat your butt? That's what the women said when you went back to get your glasses. And Cam is like, okay, look, you know, I'm sorry that happened to you. You know, part of being famous is that we deal with buttholes. We deal with a-holes. And Allison's like, yeah, and we deal with eating them too. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so then we're back to the podcast. Chin is finishing up listing his blessings when Allison comes in. And Cass is like, come on, join Allison and Cam. And Cam is like, nah, I'm gonna go work out. And Allison, you know, he like, nah, me and Allison are gonna go work out. And Allison is like, actually, I'm gonna join, because she got some stuff on her mind. So at this point, we have realized that there are only 23 people on the live stream. Allison is asking, you know, I want to know why Black women in the Black community feels that tearing people down is a good strategy. And Cassie is like, we can talk about that later. Our topic today is blessings. What are your blessings? And then her billionaire Boo Chin is like, well, what is this Black community? It's a problematic phrase. I don't really understand. There's so many Black communities within the so-called Black community, which is a good point. We are not a monolith. And then Cassie is like, the next episode, we'll talk about the Black community. And then Chin is like, I hate when Americans want to assume all Asians are one community, like Chinese, Japanese, Koreans are in one group. I mean, we are not a community. We've been warring for centuries. We invented genocide. I was like, oh my gosh. Vietnamese, Cambodians, Filipinos, Chinese, Koreans, Japanese do not all share the same concerns. That is a fiction. He's like going off, you know, he kind of getting, and that's an interesting point. It's an interesting conversation. I thought, and then M. Chuck is like, Black folks are too slow to accept gay folks. There's a lot of ignorance that Black folks have about gay folks. And then the producer Squeeze is like, well, white folks have issues with gay folks too. And M. Chuck is like, we're talking about the Black community. And Cassie is like, next week we talking about the Black community, but now we talking about blessings. And M. Chuck is like, speaking of blessings, a lot of Black church folks trying to throw Black gay folks out. If we all one big community, then what's up? And Squeeze is like, I like you. And M. Chuck is like, you in the last row of the Black community with your rugby shirt, white music, rugby shirt wearing, white music listening to self. So, you know, it's an interesting little conversation that they have going on. And then Miss Thang, chillax, mama. And then okay. And then Allison is like, today I wasn't Black enough to some of Cam's fans. And Chin is like, well, what are the constituent elements of the Black community? And Allison is like, I would think all of us. But folks try to kick others out for one thing or another. And Cassie is like, let's save this dialogue for next week. And Squeeze is like, we're up to 5,000 people listening now, watching now. And M. Chuck is like, talk about the Black community. The Black community comes out to hear what you think of the Black community. And then Cassie is like, well, what does the the black community want to talk about? And then Allison is like, well, maybe they can explain how calling me a basic as F makes them any blacker. And Chin is like, basic? And, Mama Cassie is like, well, you all right, you cute, pull your zipper down more, show a little more boobies, and boobies ain't basic or whatever. And M. Chuck is like, that's what they said, because she had overheard them talking about dead bugging and all of this. And then Allison is like, it's the whole community. I'm out because I'm not who you think I should be. What do I have to do to prove I'm black? And Chin is like, I still don't know what this black community is. And then M. Chuck is like, you do the wrong thing and you out. And Allison is like, shoot, you do the right thing, you out. Get a job, get an education. People want to say you're not black enough. And then Cassie is like, people say I'm out, I'm not black enough because I'm dating you, Chin. And Chin is like, he is so sweet. He's like, I don't want you to get thrown out of your community. And Cassie is like, I don't care. Then Squeeze is like, they talk about black food and eating black. And Allison is like, I eat blacker than black. And Squeeze is like, when I stopped eating blacker than black, my health improved. I lost weight. I don't have high blood pressure anymore. And then they start a hashtag, his taste buds are so black. And his taste buds are so white. And Allison's taste buds are so black. And, they have all of that going on. And then M. Chuck makes the point about a lot of people think of blackness as marginalization. Whoever, we're black because we're marginalized. And she's like, if you want to talk about marginalization, then a black lesbian is some of the most marginalized people out there. We black, we women, we lesbians. That's what she's saying. And she talks about Audre Lorde and some, she calls some names of black lesbians. And she like Sojourner Truth. And then they like, Sojourner Truth was a lesbian. She could have been a lesbian. And then Chin is like, yeah, Sojourner Truth, my people are really into her too, because we worked on the railroads. Then somebody writes in and they like send some insult into Chin because he got that railroad thing conflated, which some African Americans do too, believe it or not. We've seen it on reality TV. Some people think that the Underground Railroad was actually a railroad. And so he's like, just because I don't know every detail of the black community and the history of black community does not mean I'm a bad person. Do you know who this person is? Do you know who this person is? Because it's a whole world out there. Our world is not the only world. I thought that was a good point too. And then Miss Cassie, she get real upset because they done said whatever insulting thing they said about her man. So she is going off. Meanwhile, Reggie and his wife, Missy, are on the way to the house to talk about the fundraiser. And she's all excited. Oh, I got this idea. You think this would be a good sponsor? Da, 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 da. And they walk in the door. They open the door and they hear Cassie going off. And another thing, you can go to HELL or whatever she's saying. And they just back out. And Reggie, he don't want no part of it. Missy's like, do you think we should check on everything? Reggie's like, I'm out of here. Yeah, that's it. So he like, I want no parts. He know when his auntie is going about his business. Then we see Cam and Allison in the bedroom. They're sexing. Allison pulls his underwear off. Then the next thing you know, he jumping up like, whoa, what was that? You tried to put something in my booty? And she's like, you didn't want me to dad bug you. We talked about it. He like, we talked about it. We didn't talk about you doing it. No, was that your finger? She's like, it was my finger, but I thought that's what you wanted. He like, look, hold on, hold up. Wait a second. Let's talk about this now. You cannot let people who are haters, people who are miserable, people who are unhappy, people who are insecure throw you off your square. You got to be who you are. And he shows her some stuff that some people who maybe didn't make it as professional players or whatever have sent him. And, they kind of talk about, the fact that, you can't like let the miserable people of the world rule the world. The world is mostly made up of good people, and we're good people. And, Allison is like, yeah, good people like us. Okay, so no dead bugging. And Cam is like, no dead bugging. And then right before the episode ends, Allison is like, would you dead bug me? And I'm like, is she serious? I didn't really know what to make of it, but I'm like, there's no accounting for taste, especially when you're talking about people's sexuality. So let me not judge. If she like it, I love it. If they can work it out, power to the people. But that was the episode of Survivor's Remorse. Again, I like that it's like it's a black family, but they're not really like your typical black family. It's not what you would typically expect from the sports world, or what I would typically expect from the sports world. I think they just deal with a lot of interesting issues. So that's what we got. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for clicking on the video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing and sharing. I love Survivor's Remorse. Y'all sleeping on Survivor's Remorse. Not y'all, but the other people out there. They sleeping on Survivor's Remorse. We love Survivor's Remorse. We're working on 200 subscribers. If you are a charter subscriber, yay. Thank you so much. And it's a whole bunch of activity on the street, so I'm a little distracted. And that's what I got. Goodbye. Bella getting up. She ready to go. She like, goodbye, we going? Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You are number one. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Bye.